Hello guys, in this video I want to explain about the wrapper layer of object-oriented programming. First of all, we have to list all devices in the product line. This product line consists of base machining center and lead machining center, in addition to an assembler. In this picture you see the entrance of base machining center. There is a conveyor belt number 1 and a diffuse sensor that detects the base part. This picture is after base machining center and includes two conveyors number 2 and 3 to carry the base part to the assembler. Sensor number 2 that detects object delivered by machining center, and sensor number 3 that installed before clamp 1. We have exactly the same mechanism for lead machining center. This is the entrance, the conveyor number 4 and diffuse sensor 4. In machining output there are conveyors 5 and 6 in addition to diffuse sensors 5 and 6. There are two clamps to sort the base and lead parts, and diffuse sensor 7 is to detect the assembled parts. Okay, now let's review the wrapper code. Wrapper is a function block that here is called product line FB. For each device type we need to define inputs and outputs. For example, conveyor input is an array of structure motor I, and the size of array is equal to number of conveyors. And we repeat this for all other devices like cylinder PP input, clamp input, diffuse input, the machining center I, and lifter input. And because we have just one product line, so I didn't instantiate it as an array. In addition to these inputs, we need to define access arrays to be able to have access to methods and properties of devices through the sequence function block. And for example, conveyor access I is an array of I auto manual. We should do the same for the outputs like this for all devices. In continue, in internal variables, we have to instantiate all devices in the wrapper. Conveyors, machining centers, cylinders, clamps and lifters, plus diffuse sensors. I defined an actuator set as an array that contains whole actuators, because sometimes you need to do same action for all of them. For example, general shutdown that turns off all the devices. So by writing a for loop for actuator set array, it could be done easily. Here sequence function block is instantiated. Index will be used for all the loops. State, lead ready, base ready, and assemble done are internal variables of wrapper properties. We need to access them by sequence function. I talk about the other internal variables in continue. First, I call the map method. You see that here all 12 devices in wrapper or product line is assigned to the actuator set. The order is not important and it's on your choice. We have to assign all inputs and outputs to all the devices, and also assign devices to access arrays if they exist. For example, for index equal 1 to number of conveyors, conveyors are assigned to the conveyor access I, and conveyor input and outputs are assigned to the conveyors, and we have to do this for all the devices. And finally, check false method result is assigned to the product line dot fault. Next method is check faults. Here you can see the advantage of defining actuator set. If there is any fault for actuators or the emergency mode, check fault is true and returns. If there is not any fault and if it's not in auto mode, by pressing reset button, check false turns false. The next method is count pallet method. By diffuse sensor number 7 falling edge, counter adds by 1, and by counter reset button it will be 0. If not emergency mode and not product line fault, and it's in auto mode, sequence reset is false, call auto mode method, else call manual mode method. Let's go to auto mode method. If machining centers are not busy, the inputs conveyors M auto on method is called, if not M auto off. And machining centers M auto on is always calling in auto mode. When the diffuse sensor in machining output detects the base, conveyor 2 will be turned on for 4 seconds and conveyor number 3 will turn on until the clamp diffuse sensor detects the object. This algorithm is completely same for lead machining center output. When the lead or base passes from the diffuse sensors, related clamp is activated for 2 seconds to sort the object and then returns. When the sorted input signal is true, base ready or lead ready properties will be true. Assemble done property status changes in sequence function that I explain it in the next video. After assemble is done, lifter goes up and with half a second delay, conveyor 3 turns on to transfer assembled part and it turns off after 4 seconds. Then we call the sequence function and M-auto-on method of pick and place cylinder is always calling in auto mode. If the line is not in auto mode, it calls manual mode. And in manual mode, manual method of all the actuators is calling. Emergency mode is true by pushing emergency button, and it will be reset by reset button. As soon as check fault or emergency mode are true or auto mode is deactivated, general shutdown is calling to turn off all the actuators. Okay, this is a whole program for the wrapper, and in the next video I will talk about the sequence.